Hello students, today's topic is verbal and non-verbal communication. Verbal means something that uses words. Hence, we will include oral as well as written communication in verbal communication. But then what is the difference between oral and verbal communication? So the meaning of oral communication is something that we use through our spoken communication or when we communicate through our voice, that is oral. But we use verbal communication in place of oral communication in our daily conversations, and sometimes that is right because over years the meaning of verbal communication has now come down to synonymous to oral communication. So we may use it interchangeably, but here to differentiate between verbal and non-verbal communication, let us clearly understand that verbal means something which uses words. Now, what is non-verbal communication? When we communicate without using words, then it is called non-verbal communication. Non-verbal communication has a major role in our communication. It creates more impact on the audience. Now, in fact, studies shows that more than 90% of the impact is made by non-verbal communication as compared to the verbal communication. So, non-verbal communication has to be sharpened and we must understand its roles. There are various roles of nonverbal communication. First one, it strengthens the communication. That means that it gives more strength. It put across your point strongly in front of your listener. For example, if I say the impact of nonverbal communication is more than 90%, and if I say the impact of nonverbal communication is more than 90%. Now here the nonverbal aspects are different, and in the second sentence, the impact is even more. So it gives more strength to what you are saying. It complements the communication. That means that it acts as a support to what you are communicating. For example, your boss tells you, you have done a good job. So that's it. You understood that boss is happy. But now the boss wants you to feel even more appreciated. So while saying that you have done a good job, she or he also taps your shoulder. So tapping your shoulder is a non-verbal communication. That means which is done without words. And here it complements the sentence of your boss. So you feel more appreciated and motivated. So sometimes your non-verbal communication can even contradict your verbal communication. For example, if you're angry, but it is not shown on your face, then it will not have any effect on the person who is listening to you. It also helps in substituting the verbal communication. So sometimes the verbal communication is not required. For example, a teacher is teaching in the class and a student comes and asks for permission to enter the class. But the teacher is in the middle of a sentence and does not want to stop, but have noticed the student. So the teacher can just nod her head and let the student in. So here the non-verbal communication has replaced the verbal communication. And there are many other non-verbal communication which can help us in replacing the verbal communication. Finally, it also helps in underlining what you have said or in accenting what you have said. So what does this mean? It means that you can give more meaning or more impact on the listener. I will give you an example for that. Suppose I want to say that you could have done this work in a better way. So if I say it in this manner, it is only a suggestion. But when I say that you could have done this work in a better way, it is a suggestion as well as there is a disappointment. So here I can show that I'm really disappointed by the work, and the listener will understand and will improve next time. Our first component of nonverbal communication is kinesics, which is the study of body language. Body language has a great impact on communication. We speak more through our body language rather than our words. And it can either make our communication effective or ineffective. So let us understand different elements of kinesics. Physical appearance. Physical appearance is the most important thing in the body language. People see you even before they hear you. Physical appearance helps in creating the first impression. Now, as far as physical appearance is concerned, dressing plays a very important role in organizations. You must dress up formally. For men, a decent colored shirt and a trouser with polished shoes. Sometimes you can pair it up with a tie or a blazer. Now, these are optional. You can use them as per your organizational requirement or as per your profile. The formals for women is also a shirt with a trouser or a shirt with a skirt, which is formal. You can pair it up with a blazer, again according to the requirement. The Indian formal wear for girls is a salwar kameez or a sari. But to sum it up, the dressing must be neat and tidy. You must always dress up decently. Do not use bright colors. Do not use excessive accessories. And always keep your hair neatly cut or tied up. Eye contact has a very important role to play in communication. Through eye contact, we can show our confidence and conviction in what we are saying. And that is why eye contact helps us in gaining the trust of the listener. Eye contact should be such that the other people feel connected to you and your topic. If you don't make an eye contact with people, they will feel disconnected and disinterested. As a listener also, eye contact is very important. A listener who doesn't keep an eye contact shows that she or he is not listening with interest. But then when we make an eye contact, we must take certain care. When you are addressing many people at the same time, then you must make an eye contact with everyone. Your eyes must move from left to right and you must include everyone. But remember, never stare at anyone because it will make them uncomfortable. Facial expressions plays an important role in giving expressions to your words. It adds a lot of things to what you speak. Now, facial expressions can be used to express the emotions behind your verbal communication. You can change your expressions from time to time according to how you feel. Facial expressions help us in showing anger, happiness, disappointment, etc. But it also helps us in showing our conviction in what we are saying or our confidence. We must always keep a pleasant facial expression while communicating with others. Also, it is good to start every communication with a smile because it sets a very positive tone. Posture refers to the way we sit, stand, or walk. A straight posture shows confidence and creates a good impression and demands respect from others. While sitting, we must have straight posture. A laid-back posture while sitting shows laziness and disinterest. Keeping your one foot on another leg shows dominance and ignorance, or sometimes even arrogance. And keeping your legs crossed while sitting on a chair shows a closed personality or a shy personality. So for that, we must always sit straight on a chair with our legs put straight. The posture of a listener is also very important because from your posture, the speaker can make out whether you are listening with interest or not. Gestures refers to hand movements. Gestures help us in enhancing our communication. It strengthens and complements our communication. We may use our hands to show sizes, shapes, or a place, or we may point out at a place. But when we are not using our hands to show some hand movements, what should we do? So there are some positive gestures and negative gestures. So first of all, instead of pointing out or using a finger to point out, we must always use an open hand gesture. Again, open hand gestures can be used in between the communication like this. It creates a positive impact on the audience. Now, when we are not showing our hands, sometimes we may keep our hands like this crossed, or some people may fidget with things. That means they will play with a pen or a key. Or some people may even put their hands inside the pockets. But all these three gestures are negative gestures. So instead of keeping your hands like this, you may keep your hands like this and talk. This is a positive gesture. There is also one more positive gesture which is not practiced by many people, and it is called a namaste gesture. While talking, you may keep your hands like this and you can move your hands like this. This creates a very positive impact on others. It also increases your confidence. Yes, definitely this gesture is a little awkward when you start practicing in beginning. But when you practice a lot, you will become very used to it and you will find it very, very comfortable. Sometimes people even fold their hands by keeping one hand on the other hand. But that is again a negative gesture. It shows a closed personality or defensiveness. So instead of that, you must put your hands one on the other, or you must fold your hand one on the other. That shows that you are open to listen to others or you are open to the communication. For all of the points that we have discussed today, we must take care that our non-verbal communication doesn't contradict with our verbal communication. Because if it contradicts with our verbal communication, then we will lose trust of our audience. Because when your body language says something else and your words are saying something else, then people will not trust you. So if we use a body language in a right manner, we can communicate effectively and can achieve our desired goals. So that's all for today.